Sarah, it's so lovely for you to join me this morning. Thank you so much for having such grace and saying yes when I reached out to you to congratulate you on your recent award. For the point of us connecting is so that I can share this with our community at Canine Care Hub and also with your community. So, are you able to just tell us a little bit about yourself? I've been stalking your LinkedIn a bit. You've got a very interesting work history. Let's start there.
Uh, Okay, yeah, that's quite a long journey really to where I am now. Currently, I own a daycare business for dogs in Norwich called Tom and Toto, which is where you found me because we recently just won the award for the UK's best daycare from the Pet Industry Federation Awards. So we're still buzzing from that.
For the second year in a
Uh,
row as well.
yeah, I know. I didn't I obviously had hoped that we would retain the title, and we were more nervous going back this time because we had it and we wanted to keep it. So yeah, we were really, really, really pleased to keep it this year. But the journey to where I am now, yeah, like you said, is super long. So, well, my original background, I've worked with animals for about 20 years. And initially was more wild animals. So I was working on conservation programs, various countries around the world. I was a research intern in South Africa for a while. And then that's kind of where I just realized you can work with animals as a career. Like I don't just get to enjoy animals. It's my biggest passion, but I can actually make this a career. So that naturally led me on to staying in South Africa. Actually, if I was going to work with animals anywhere, that's where I would be. That's my favorite place in the whole entire world. And I trained to be a safari guide at a college out in the Kruger Park. I lived there for a while, leading safaris on foot and obviously driving my 4x4 around the bush. And then when I came back to the UK, I kind of did the very next best thing that I could do, which was work with big cats in a UK safari park. So I worked at the safari park in Woburn for a few years, where I got my animal keeping qualifications, started to learn more about training animals, enrichment, welfare, all of that stuff. And I found it quite challenging to do that in my role in that job, because there weren't enough of the team that really cared about that stuff at the time. It was still just pop your animals out. That's lovely. What else do they need? And that's quite frustrating because they are there for, 15 odd years. So
Yeah.
it was hard to leave because I wanted to be there for them, but then also not really getting to kind of expand my skills or really make any impact. I decided that's when I would set up my own pet care business. So that way I'm fully in charge of caring for animals the way that I want, can really start to improve welfare standards. Like I said, more training, more enrichment. And that's where I started Tom and Toto 10 years ago. It was just me walking some dogs in a field on my own. I just did it for myself. I hadn't really got the aspirations at the time to grow it to where it is now. Now I have 22 staff.
Wow.
Half the business is still dog walking, half the business is the daycare center. And I just said yes a lot until I found myself here.
That's just so incredible. So yeah, so 10 years, Tom and Toto is really important as well. Something that I talk about quite a lot with my community. Quite a lot of my people are startups. So you kind of go, I want to be like where you are right now. But it started with just you with a couple of dogs in a field. And so if I can dig into that time, like what did you do to help keep yourself building up? How did you keep yourself going during those tough times?
Yeah, there have been many tough times. It's a constant roller coaster. One day it's amazing and you've got a new client and the dog's brilliant, and the next day you're like falling down in the mud and everybody cancels. And yeah, it's a battle. You have to become really, really resilient, and there's been many challenges. So for me as a startup on my own, yes, you have to be confident in yourself and your skills and what you can offer for starters. I think there's a lot more pet businesses around now than 10 years ago. So I probably had slightly less competition. Now there's, it's really easy to become a dog walker. Not easy, obviously, to be a good dog walker, but it can appear just become a dog walker. That's quite easy, or a trainer, take a few courses. So you have to set yourself apart from all of the other bits and pieces going on. Just find a little something that you have that makes you better or different to everyone else, and that should give you confidence to really push yourself forward in your marketing and your towards your clients. I think that helps.
Absolutely. We call it the top dog status in our WAG sheet, our Wealth Accelerator Growth sheet. That area is called top dog. And we deep dive into that during one of our summits, which is actually our next one, runs next week. So that's really amazing. So did you have any coaching background? Did you have a business leader there supporting you and helping you? Or are you just, used your own skills and knowledge and made it happen?
Initially, no, I didn't have any business experience or support. So for a lot of the time I was winging it. So usually I just say yes, and then I go and figure it out.
I love that.
Yes, because there's so much to learn in business. Like, it's one thing to be a pet professional. You have those skills and you're amazing with dogs, or whatever area of the industry you're in is one thing, but then HR, further down the road, obviously, if you have staff, or just marketing and social media, like just social media is a minefield, let alone every other kind of marketing there is, and accounting and all of that sort of thing. So I did all of it myself to start off with for the first little while. Eventually I started to bring in bits and pieces of support in terms of an accountant. So I'm obviously not great at everything, because I just haven't, that's, no one's brilliant at everything. So the areas I found along the way that either weren't 100% my strength, or would just take me so much time, and it's better to, enlist the help of someone who knows what they're doing, like when it comes to doing your tax returns or company accounts or something like that.
Absolutely.
Just let someone do that stuff. The social media and marketing side of things, I've taken a lot of courses. I've kind of tried to upskill along the way, because that just changes every year anyway. You think you've like got it nailed, and then there's like something new you have to learn, so that just never stops. Now we have a social media person who creates a lot of our content, but that's literally in year 10. So it's not something you need to spend your money on early doors. There's smart ways of bringing in customers without spending a lot. I did enlist the help of a business coach probably a few years in, which was really helpful. That was quite an investment at the time. But it's worth it if you are keen to grow your business and improve your skills. Then that is a smart thing to spend your money on, because that's going to accelerate that so much further than if you're on your own. Like just the accountability of having someone, every couple of weeks you do the stuff, whereas if you're on your own, it's easy to just, oh, that stuff's hard, I'll put it over there for like a month and not do anything about it. So I would recommend that if possible.
Absolutely. You talked about marketing at the start. Don't just spend a load of money on ads on Facebook, because you're probably going to burn your money, right? So what would someone who is just starting out, what would you recommend, and what did you do at the start to get your name out there locally?
So I tried to hit all the areas really. Obviously have a social media page, because they're free to have. I didn't spend money on ads though, because like you say, it's quite a fine art. And if you don't know what you're doing, you're just chucking it out there and hoping for the best.
Spray and pray.
Yeah. So I don't think it's necessary. Obviously you can share your pages with your local community groups online. You can utilize friends and family to help share and get you additional reach. If in my local area, we put up flyers. There's notice boards in certain places where you can pop adverts. Also in businesses. So I'm in Norwich, so we have a huge amount of Aviva buildings, for example, and many of the communal office, staff break rooms have boards, so you can get your little branded poster there, which is really helpful. And probably word of mouth is going to be one of the biggest ones too, when your budget is teeny, and well, even when your budget is not teeny, because dog people like dog people, and they talk about their dogs all day long, and they'll have similar problems. So it makes sense that if you do a good job and you look after your customers, they will talk about you to their people. And that's a really good way to spread the word.
Absolutely. So tell me about your top dog status. What is it about Tom and Toto that has resulted in this award for you?
Gosh, well, I mean, there was quite a wide criteria in terms of our award. So I guess in terms of the award process, I think we stand out because we do quite a lot of work for our community. We run wellbeing walks for the local university, so we have a partnership with the UEA. We take dogs to walk with the students every week, just to help get them out from behind the screens and connect with each other. And they're missing their dogs from home. It's been really beneficial for them. It's lovely for us to do. It also makes the dogs owners very proud that their dogs have little side jobs, and that's just one little extra thing that sets us apart from any other business in the area in terms of giving back to the community or helping with well-being, which I think is really important, something we care about a lot. We spent quite a we upgraded our branding, and this is not to say anything to do with the awards, particularly why we would win an award, but what sets us apart is we invested recently in rebranding. So not necessarily something you would do as a startup, but just to consider your brand as a whole from an early stage is important. There's so many pet businesses, like I said, you want yours to just stand out a little bit. So whether that's like colors or imagery or how you define it, I think it's important to define your business in those visual terms, and then it helps as you grow to just have a bit of an idea, because and that will define your kind of client base too, I think.
Yes.
If you're super loud and bright, does that appeal to a certain kind of customer? If you're slightly a different vibe, are you picking slightly more professional older customers? I don't know, I'm just chucking out ideas, but
no, that's it, right? Yeah.
I think it makes a difference who you want to speak to, and that again helps differentiate you from other businesses. Being more niche can feel a bit scary, I think, because you think, oh God, I'm writing off all these other people that might want me. But in trying to be quite well, it's just to be consistent, I guess, which I think helps build trust in clients. If you're kind of doing all of this stuff, it maybe doesn't look as clear and professional as in this is us and this is how it looks. It's reassuring for a customer who's going to choose you. And we've spent quite a bit of time honing that, I think, over the last little while. And I think that helps us stand out.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, I was just going to add on that. It's also like, then if you do post on social media, or if you have that flyer out, they're all the same, so that someone sees that it's that multifaceted approach of marketing. So they're like, oh my God, you seem to be everywhere, and it's, whereas if you had a blue advert on Facebook and a pink advert in the local paper, for example, like, then they might not make that relation, because there are so many other dog professionals out there doing what you guys do. I love that. So tell me about the name, Tom and Toto. Where did that originate from?
Okay, there's two versions, the truth and the fast version. So so the name came, okay, so the long version, which is the true version. I was sat in Africa and I was like, I decided that this is what I was going to do when I moved on from working with my big wild animals. I was going to start these pet services. And the idea was that we come into people's homes and we look after animals as if they were our own. There's no place like home. And that is the strap line from The Wizard of Oz. And the little dog is called Toto.
Oh,
So that was our first little strap line. So, you know, now our strap line is supporting the journey. So we've got something for all ages. But the first strap line was, there's no place like home. So we did a lot of pet visits. We came on house sitting and we were in your home. And then we looked after cats as well as dogs. So Toto was the dog and Tom was the cat.
oh.
And that was Tom and Toto. But that's really long if a client asks. So usually I just say, oh, they were my pets when I was little. And I leave it at that.
Oh, I like the true story.
It was on the back of my first vehicle, like our branding. And I was in Tesco car park and this lady was like, oh my gosh, my pets are called Tom and Toto. I was like, oh, me too. Not really true, but I'd actually met someone whose pets were Tom and Toto.
Oh, you're like, it's a sign. I must do
Yeah.
more.
So, yeah, so there's a bit of a story. Our business has changed loads since then. We don't look after cats anymore, but the name has stuck.
Oh, no, I love the name. I was wondering whether there was a Tom in the business, whether it was.
No, yeah, lots of people email me and they're like, hi, Tom. No, there's no.
That's incredible. So I'm just going to go back to the award because I think what made me celebrate you, I saw you on LinkedIn that you'd won this award. I didn't know you, and I was like, I think you're amazing. I want to talk to you, and huge congratulations on your win. I think not a lot of dog boarders or a lot of the pet professionals, they don't put themselves forward for awards or they don't get put forward. So where did that idea come from? Did you get put forward? Did you where's the story there?
Okay. Yeah, I mean, so I had the goal. It was my goal. We had been dog walkers for around 5 years, and I really, really wanted to open a daycare center for many reasons. Because it's safer in terms of there's no random dogs potentially going to pop out when we're walking in public spaces. In terms of business growth, it's slightly more profitable, or it can be, if you get it right. There was more chance for me to offer apprenticeships and training and work experience and lots of other nice things I wanted to do. So the goal was to open a daycare center, and I had just said to myself, and I'm going to get that award. I was going to get it. So that was the whole goal. So, I mean, I've been a member of the Pet Industry Federation, the business has anyway, and they're really, really useful for business support, actually. So that's quite a useful thing for a small or a startup. They've got lots of support with legals and HR, link ups with colleges. There's lots of advice, and it's a good community too. So that's quite a useful thing to just be a part of. But the awards come around every year. The businesses submit their application, if you like, and each year the criteria, not the criteria, but so what they were looking for this year was completely different to the year before. This year was focused on so business growth and development and staff, welfare standards, and just off the top of my head, I'm sure there was lots more. Last year was slightly more about sustainability, what are we doing to make our businesses more green, community efforts, different aspects of the business. So you have to write your application in very few words and make it amazing, and then the judging process begins. You go through various rounds, and mystery callers. They vet every area of your business, and then they select who they want for the finalists. What is my thought now? So I think all awards are different, and if you are nervous about applying, I mean, you've got nothing to lose, you might as well.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, it's brilliant. Not all awards are equal, I would say. There some a couple have felt that I've looked into have felt maybe a little money making, because you have to basically publicize it yourself, like a kind of what am I looking to say? Like a public vote system. So you share it, and then if you're selected, then you spend several £100s on going to this award, and then you might have to spend another however much to have the award, and that's not necessarily the way to do it. That's probably not the ones, but you can find, obviously awards are definitely worthwhile, because for us it's great PR. It sets us apart again from other daycare centers. It's brilliant for well, on the website, obviously the branding of the Pet Industry Federation, that's the one you want to get if you're going to go for an award in our industry. That's the one. I mean, there are several others that are equally fab, but yeah, I would say just go for it. There's nothing to lose, and even if nothing were to come of it, what you've done is spent some time writing about what is great about your business, and that is really valuable just for your own personal self-confidence, because it's easy to focus on all the day-to-day stuff that is hectic and hard to figure out, and this drama over here and whatever else needs doing, and you don't spend enough time just thinking about how far you've come or what you've achieved. And it's really important to have a minute to just say, yeah, I've done that, and just let that sink in, and like celebrate a win to yourself. Because if you start a business out of nothing, like that's amazing. So I think it's brilliant just for your own self to go through the process, and then you've got a wealth of really awesome material you can use in marketing and press releases and all sorts of things.
Absolutely. It sounds like you have a real passion for both animals and for growing people as well. You said about your apprenticeships.
Yeah.
So why do you think you're so passionate about all of that?
Probably because I have worked for some people that were the opposite.
Yeah. We've all done that.
Yeah. And that's really interesting, because it's not something I considered when I started it. I just did it for myself. So when I left, I've worked for some pretty old school people that are just like, well, I don't know if I can swear on this, but get off your fat and go and do this. Just rude and horrible, and it's, as much as you might love what you're doing, people ruin it sometimes. And it's, especially in the animal sector, we're empathetic people, we care a lot, we're always potentially susceptible to things like compassion fatigue and burnout, because we it's hard to put a limit on when we stop doing things, because we want it to help and help and help. And I wanted to, well, firstly I realized once we got busy and I hired a person or two, like, actually I'm finding real enjoyment in providing opportunities for people who are like me, who wanted the same. So I did it for myself, and then actually it was better. It kind of kept me going and wanted more growth, so that I could provide opportunities for other people, because there isn't a lot necessarily available in animal care or any pet or animal industry, corner. It's quite hard to get into unless you create it yourself, and that obviously is challenging but worthwhile. But there wasn't much around when I was looking, so it's the reason I do it has changed slightly from that initial challenge for myself to actually doing it for other people, which is really brilliant. And to take care of people as well properly. I really like to pride myself on being a good employer, and looking after my people, which I think actually in turn benefits everybody, because my team
Absolutely.
are amazing and they're so happy and we love what we're doing, even though it's literally smashing it down with rain today and they're probably covered in mud. We love it, and we all have the same values, and we all are kind of singing from the same hymn sheet when it comes to caring for dogs, and we all want to be better, and we're passionate, and that really is such a nice place to be. So even if you were I'm going off on a tangent here, but even if you were a startup sole dog trainer or walker or boarder, something like that, if you can find some other people like that, not necessarily locally, but anywhere, that really helps, I think, keep you going and push your growth, if that's what you're interested in, because it's quite lonely when it's just you sometimes. So it's good to find some of your people.
Absolutely. And I am just loving just letting you are just, I'm grinning like a
Keep
Cheshire cat while you're talking.
My thoughts go this way.
No, I love it. I love it because you are absolutely embodying our teachings and trainings here. And I'm just, oh, I just love hearing you. So tell me about the vision for the future. It sounds like you have your vision set out. So give me 10 years in the future for Tom and Toto.
So I've said it out loud now to my team and some of my clients. So now I'm going to have to go do it. The vision for the next 5 years is to open 10 daycare centres in East Anglia.
Very nice.
Yeah. So our one centre is really successful. It's not a pilot because it's what I always wanted it to be, but we've learned what works, what doesn't, in terms of like financials, but also in terms of like logistics in the actual space. So now we know we can replicate that. I was literally about to say, so it'll be easier, but it won't be, because that's ridiculous. It won't be easier at all. But at least we have a massive Bible of all procedures and policies, and we've created all the possible documents you could think of how we do things. So that side of things is on its way. So I've hired an operations manager for the first time, which has been a really big learning curve for me, and I felt so out of my comfort zone for the last 2 months, which she knows, bless her.
In what sense? What made you feel uncomfortable?
Well, so the reason I hired her, because I wanted someone to take on the running of the business as it is. So basically be me.
Yes.
I look after the team and everybody, and then my main focus is to find new locations, liaise with landlords, open new centres, raise funding, all of the stuff. And so, I mean, I'm not a control freak in my business, which I'm saying, and then I went, because I know I've had to hire over and over again over the years. So I'm okay at like relinquishing control, and you absolutely have to if you want to grow. You need people. You can't do everything because you will absolutely burn out. But this time it was my entire role to a new person, and then to step away. I mean, slowly step away as she took on more and more. And I've almost gone back to where I was a few years ago, which is just, I'm back in my office working on my own on new projects, and like everybody's at the center having a lovely time with the manager, and I'm like, hey guys, how's it going? And they're like, no, we're fine, go work on your new projects. I'm like, okay. So it's all a part of the greater plan, and it's worthwhile for everybody, because if I'm trying to find a second location where we live currently, on the other side of town, it provides growth for everybody, not just for me and my plan of the business, but for my team, who are awesome. They want career progression too. And otherwise, I mean, doing what we do is amazing, but no one wants the same thing forever. So I want to keep these people and offer them more. So by having more centers, more opportunities. We're bringing in training. We're going to bring in hopefully boarding. There's so much to do, and it will give everyone the chance to basically upskill, which is fab.
I have full faith in you.
You can check back in with me in a year, see how we're doing. I'll be totally grey.
I'll put it in the diary. I'll make sure that we do.
Yeah.
Do you have any final pointers that you would want to share with somebody else that's on their journey at the moment?
Something that I think is really important at the moment for any size of business is just delivering a little bit of extra value where possible, and it doesn't have to cost anything, and it's something you can do on a shoestring, because cost of living is reality at the moment, and if people are, you know, you need to almost give a little bit more in some aspects, because if you don't really show how you are delivering all this value to your customers, you just don't want to give them any like reason to go, oh, I don't need this. Oh, the heating's on, it's a lot, I don't think I'll pull back here. You don't want that to happen. You want to keep hold of all your customers over winter and every season. And by delivering extra value, I mean just small things, like use the knowledge that you have to create an interesting reel on Instagram and give them a tip for how to, I don't know, keep their dogs clean in the winter when it's muddy, or a little tip in the house to help them settle, or just something extra that they need or care about that makes them go, oh yeah, that's so useful. And I think sometimes we know the stuff because we do it every day, but they don't. So something really small for me that I use all the time, just for an example, is like a licky mat for my dog.
Yeah,
that to me is just something I have like a whole freezer full of and I use all the time. But then a customer of mine will be like, what's that? I'm like, so if I just could make a little video of me, you know, filling my licky mat with something cute, giving them various ideas of really healthy things that can go in there, and then the benefits of that, you know, in terms of the dog settling or being calm, or I don't know, all of the stuff, that's a really big win, especially if someone says he's got a new puppy. That's just brilliant for them, and that will set you apart from someone else who's just taking cute photos of dog heads. Like, you know, anyone can take a picture of a dog looking happy, but if you can give just a little smidge extra, you win. You're the expert over someone else, you know. So I think that's really helpful.
it is, because they've spent the years training to do what they do, so share the knowledge.
I think education through any kind of interesting, kind of entertaining way. There's loads of options, aren't there, with TikTok and stories and all the ways of doing it, blogs and things. You know, like in-person shows, or, you know, open days, or whatever you want to do. If you can educate, like share your knowledge a little bit, it's 100% worthwhile, because that will stick in someone's memory over just consistent same dogs being happy or whatever. I think that's really, really important, especially at the moment when life is pricey.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Sarah. You are an angel. It's been such a pleasure to listen to you. I could honestly sit here for hours, but I know you have a busy schedule, so we absolutely will check in with you again.
You're going to hold me accountable.
I can hold you accountable. So thank you very much, and we can't wait to hear more from you and see how you grow. So thank you for your service to dogs and to your local community.
You're welcome.